welcome to Pallikkutam Dialogues. This is a new initiative of the Rajagiri Media where we'll be interacting with experts from the education sector on various issues concerning education, the conduct of education in the country. We are fortunate to have the first episode featuring Dr. Hrushikesh Senapaty, former director of NCERT. He is a renowned academician and teacher, and he has also been instrumental in implementing the learning outcomes for school education in the country. He was the director when the learning outcomes for the foundational as well as the secondary stage were developed. So today he will be discussing about the context of the learning outcomes, why it is important in our education system, and what are the changes or reforms required in our sector to make it happen. So we'll start off the session with Dr. Hrushikesh Senapati.
I'm really very happy to share my experiences on learning outcome. We are in the process of developing learning outcome for the higher secondary, but in the meantime, my tenure was over. Then now I think my successor, they are taking care of this. What I feel that actually during those days, there was a mention of learning outcome in RT Act, but learning outcome was not defined. No detention policy was there, and our students were being promoted from one class to other. Then that means no detention was there, and the problem was without acquiring the basic skills and competencies, they were being promoted from one class to the next class. And we all know mostly our curriculum is content loaded, and then we thought this is one of the consideration that if we put so much emphasis on content, then actually it is not going to help our student in the development of their skills and competency what they need in 21st century. And some studies also that it came in the newspaper that students of class 7 are unable to read the text of class 3, class 4, and unable to solve the problem of class 3, class 4. That means it was clear that our students are not having age appropriate and stage appropriate skills and competences. So that we realized, and then we thought then what to do, and we also conduct national achievement survey that in every 3 years since 2001 to we have been conducting this national achievement survey. But before 2017, our surveys were also mostly the content based on the textbooks. But in 2017, when we came out with the learning outcome, we conducted our national achievement survey based on these learning outcomes. And another thing that you might be knowing, the PISA, it was conducted in 2009 and it came into 11. It was conducted in Tamil Nadu and Himachal, and out of 74, I think our position was last but one, 73 or like that. That means that what we realize that our students are not able to perform well when questions are related to skills and competencies. When it is mostly text-based, so questions are coming from the textbook, the students are performing well. And some international study also support this. That it has been clearly mentioned that Indian students perform well when questions come from the textbook. When it is beyond the textbook, when it is something related to understanding and application, Indian students are not performing well. Many international studies are also highlighted this one. So that is why what we felt no, now it is high time and we should do something on this area so that whole country will be benefited. At least our students will know, teachers will know what are the skills and competency our students should acquire before being promoted to the next class. So that was one of the consideration. And during that time, fortunately, our honorable minister, that at that time it was known as Ministry of Human Resource Development, and Honorable Minister Prakash Javadkar were there, and he had very keen interest in this area, and academically, that means he was more motivated, and he also wanted that no, we should come out with the learning outcome. That we got support from the ministry, and we understood that there is a need of this learning outcome. Then we started working on this, and whole NCERT, all our faculty, including our regional institutes of education. We have 5 regional institutes of education in different part of the country, and whole NCERT, all the faculty of NCERT were involved in developing these learning outcomes, and we started working on this. And within 1 year that we were in 16 we started, and 17 we were able to complete this task, and we completed and presented this document to our honorable minister, and it was also inaugurated by our honorable minister in NCRT, I remember. And that was the beginning, because if you ask me that overall the essence, because we felt our students are not having the basic skills and competency what they need in a particular class or in a particular age. That was the background, and based on that we came out with this document, and then we developed this document in all areas, and completed this task. This is the beginning.
So for learning outcomes to become impactful and also meaningful, you need to have that pedagogy implemented. So I think the learning outcome specifies the kind of pedagogy that is required. And then another area is about assessment and evaluation. So all these things should go together if it has to become impactful the way you have visualized for all these classes. So do you think that we have reached a stage where our evaluation and assessment and also the pedagogical approaches have changed that much or progressed that much to a level where these learning outcomes can really be achieved by the students?
Very, very pertinent question you have asked. Actually, only by defining learning outcome, we cannot achieve the goal. To achieve the goal, we have to follow appropriate pedagogy and also the appropriate process of assessment. Then only we can achieve the goal. So that is very clear. And just from the pedagogical point of view, just I would like to highlight. Actually, in 2005, NCERT came out with the learning outcome, sorry, National Curriculum Framework. And in that National Curriculum Framework, that you will find a paradigm shift. Because earlier our focus was more behavioristic. That means it was more the teacher centered. But in 2005, National Curriculum Framework, when we came out with this curriculum framework, you'll find focus was on this constructivist learning, because in this constructivist learning, that means it is more process oriented. And when it is more process oriented, that what we our intention was to strengthen the process. That is why when we came out with the textbook, you'll find the textbook after 2005, based on this National Curriculum Framework 2005, many box items are there. The purpose of these box items was the students will be involved in different types of activities, so that they will develop their skills and competencies. Because what is happening earlier, what was happening, the teachers are transacting the text, what is there in the textbook. But when these textbooks are developed, the many box items were included in the textbook, so that the teachers and students will be engaged in different type of activities. They will perform different activities, so that the classroom process will be strengthened. Students will participate, they will share their experiences, they will exhibit their talents, they will create something, they will innovate something. And that was the purpose. That is why box items were introduced in the textbook. And then when we came out with this learning outcome, and in our learning outcome also we followed this, we, because there was no change in the textbook, same textbooks were there, and we also described the same thing. That means more teachers should be involved, students should be involved in different types of activities. Let them perform that, should they let them participate. So that was our approach, that was the pedagogical shift. because if we go to the class and deliver a lecture or transact what is there in the textbook, that will not help our student to develop the learning outcome what we expect. That to develop the learning outcome, students should be involved, because as per the this constructivist pedagogy, the students should construct their own knowledge, because teachers should facilitate. So that is why what we expect a change in the role of the teacher. That role the teacher should facilitate, and students should be active learners, and they should share their experiences. They should collaborate, and the classroom environment should be very conducive, and they should get freedom to interact, and they should need not sit in one place. And there should be more activities, more project, more assignment, and there may be team teaching, and teachers of science, teacher of mathematics, social science may work together. That means our purpose was that students and teacher should be involved, fully involved, and they should be engaged in different types of activities. That was the purpose. The more in science they may conduct more experiment. In social science there may be field visit, and they may do something in a different way. That was the purpose. So that pedagogical shift we wanted. And even after national curriculum framework, also 2005, also there was some orientation of the teachers. And but ultimately what we found, even after that we conducted some study, but it was found that though teachers are trained, but most of the cases it was found that just teachers are just transacting the text what is there in the textbook. These box items were neglected. That means some of the teachers were doing, but in some of the teachers are not doing. That is why we are not successful in achieving our goal. But now what we are doing now, we are talking about this, that should be, that is why more orientation should be given to the teacher, and teachers should actively conduct different type of activities for the students, and let students participate. And that is why now we are talking about this competency based approach. Focus is more on skills and competencies, so that our focus will be on development of the competency. If learning outcomes are defined, then definitely what we'll do, we'll take care of the learning outcome, and we'll be using content as a medium, because content is not the end. Content is a means. So we should use content as a means to develop the skills and competency what our students need in 21st century. It may be problem solving ability, it may be critical thinking, it may be creativity, so communication skills. All these we can develop using different content, and the content should be used as a medium, as a means. If that is done, then definitely we can come out with our learning outcome. That is the pedagogical shift we need. If we can orient our teachers about this, that is why we wanted to reduce the curriculum. Now NEP is also talking about the reducing the content load, because if content load is more, then it is really difficult for the teachers and the students to develop the learning outcome, because students will be busy in acquiring mastery over the content. That is why the content load should be less. It should be competency based. Curriculum should be competency based, and students should be encouraged to develop the skills and competency using the content. That is the purpose. That is the pedagogical shift. And another is from the point of view assessment. If you see, because assessment is the key, because if we do not bring about change in the process of assessment, then nothing will happen. Suppose we have developed a learning outcome, we have defined the learning outcome for each class. If when we are doing assessment, if our assessment will not be based on these learning outcomes, it will be based on only on the content what is there in the textbook, then the very purpose will be defeated. That is most important. If really we want our students should attend the learning outcomes what has been defined, then we have to first bring about change in the process of assessment, and we should ask questions keeping in view the learning outcomes, and it should be based on the learning outcomes. If it is based on the learning outcomes, then it will test the skills and competency what our students should develop before being promoted to the next class. So that is why we should bring about change in our assessment process. Yeah, it's instead of asking different questions based keeping in view the text what is there in the textbook, we should rather ask question keeping in view the learning outcomes what has been defined. That is the second thing. That means to achieve this learning outcome, what that we have to do, we have to bring about change in our pedagogical process as well as in the process of assessment. If we can do that, then definitely we can help our students in the attainment of the learning outcomes what has been defined in our NCERT learning outcome documents.
So, in our interactions with the school principals and also other administrators, what they point out is the lack of interest of the teachers to innovate or bring out these new practices that NCERT or the SCERT might be developing. So, everywhere the talk is about the capacity building. You need capacity building in this subject. You need capacity building in science. You need capacity building in information technology. So this is something which we hear of again and again. So what does NCERT, since you also run the RIEs and so many other institutions connected with training of teachers, what is the way ahead? I mean, if the capacity building is a major issue in the implementation of these reforms, what can be done so that we can scale up the process?
Thank you. Very, again, very pertinent question, because without developing the capacity of the teachers, we cannot implement what we have proposed. That is why there is a need of actually developing the capacity of the teachers. Why there is a need? That just I will tell you the background, because our teachers have been oriented keeping in view the product oriented approach. Product oriented approach means a behavioristic approach, but all the time our focus is on product. All the time we emphasize our students should give correct answer. That is our focus is mostly on examination. It is examination oriented. But what I mean to say, that when we are preparing teacher, that means we have oriented our teachers like that. What we do now, that means even though there is now we have NEP 2020 and we are supposed to bring about change in teacher education program, and it is in the process. But if you see what is happening in our teacher education institutions, we are providing training to our teachers how to transact the curriculum in science, mathematics, social science, and language. They are transacting. They are experts. They are good teachers. They know how to transact the curriculum inside the classroom. They are doing, and teachers are happy when they complete the syllabus. We follow that approach. If syllabus is covered, then we are happy because our job is done. So that is our approach, and that orientation we have given to our teachers. But now our expectation has changed. It is not covering the syllabus. It is not just helping the student acquiring mastery over the content what is there in the textbook. Now our job is to help the student to acquire the skills and competencies. It may be problem solving, it may be critical thinking, it may be creativity, communication skills, and etc. That since our purpose is to develop the skills and competency, keeping in view these, we have developed the learning outcomes. So we have to orient our teachers in this regard. If we will not orient our teachers to develop the skills and competency, what should be done in this process oriented approach. Now our focus is not process product oriented, it is process oriented. That is why in NEP 2020 it has been clearly mentioned. It is important what our students learning, that is no doubt about that, but how they are learning, that is more important. Because in 21st century, they should be in a position to convert the challenges into opportunities. If they have the problem solving ability, critical thinking, then definitely they can convert the challenges into opportunities. That is why there is need of orienting teachers how to develop the skills and competencies using the content. Content will be medium, and same content will be used to conduct different activities and to give them different assignment, to give them different projects, and that should be more interdisciplinary approach or multidisciplinary approach. Teachers of different subjects should work together. This training we have not provided to our teachers in our teacher education institutions. In our teacher education institution, we have provided training, and they know how to transact the curriculum, how to help the student to acquire mastery over the content, how to secure good mark in exam. But now, what we think or what we have recommended, that it is not only securing mark is not going to serve the purpose. Now it is high time we have to develop the skills and competency what our students need in 21st century. That is why there is a need of conducting capacity building program for the teachers, and that we initiated. That you will be happy to know, we initiated this NISTA program that all over the country in 2019 that was launched, and we our intention was to complete to provide training through this offline mode to 42 lakh teachers within 1 year, but we could provide training to 17 18 lakhs, and because of COVID then we had to follow this online mode. Now we have extended it to other those secondary and other stages, but online may not be that effective. That is my personal experience. But if it is offline, if it is conducted in a very interactive manner, then definitely it will be meaningful. And by doing that, really we can enhance the capacity of the teachers. And without enhancing the capacity, without empowering our teachers, really it is very difficult to achieve the goal. And we cannot help our students to acquire the mastery over the skills and competency without empowering our teacher or without enhancing their capacity. That is why there is a need of capacity building program for the teachers.
Now, the talk is about how AI is going to change the education sector, how we live and interact, also how we are going to work, the future workplaces. So now that challenge is also something which the education sector has to address, because many of the skills that was previously considered to be uniquely human is now taken over by AI. So many of the cognitive skills, even the creative skills, because the large language model has been developed in that way, so that so many of the skills that we once considered exclusive to us is now taken over by the machines. So which means that the students of this generation, alpha generation now, who are studying now, when they come to the workforce, when they become part of the workforce, the whole scenario might have changed. Whatever they have learned may not be suitable for that situation. So how do you visualize on that kind of rapid change taking place? How much fast we need to move?
See, when you're talking about technology, actually, technology is a means. Technology is not an end. That we should understand, because now we are talking about this artificial intelligence or generative artificial intelligence, chat GPT. But earlier also, you see that if you see the history, that we have been using this technology in teaching learning process. Even before the development of this internet technology in 80s and 90s, also we are using technology. But the question is how we are using technology, because since technology is a tool, technology is a means, technology is not an end. We should know how to use technology. Number one. And in this context, what I would suggest, or what has been already suggested by others, that technology should be perfectly integrated with pedagogy. If we want to really take the advantage of technology, then it should be perfectly integrated with technology pedagogy. Because you see, if you see the history, when this computer came in 90s, in 80s and 90s, then we are learning from technology. We are learning from technology, and at that time when this program learning was there, and we are dividing the content into small units and putting it in the machine and asking the learner to go through a small portion. Then when after that we are asking some question, if they could give correct answer, then we allow them to go to the next. That means what are their focus? Focus was on product, correct answer. And if they give correct answer, we allow them to go to the next. If they give wrong answer, then we ask them to repeat the same thing again and again till we get correct answer. So that this was our approach, computer assisted learning. That's the beginning. And then when this internet technology came, we started using technology. We that means we started learning with technology. At that time, we were learning from technology. Now we are learning with technology. That means we are using this technology as a tool, as a means, and we are taking advantage of the situation. And using technology, we are able to collaborate. Using technology, we are able to share, and we using technology we can create better content. That means when we are talking about this generative artificial intelligence, but when we are using, we should know what for we are using. And why we say it is learning with technology, because we have given full freedom to the learner. And now we say that our learners are autonomous learners. We have to give them autonomy, and we have to give them full freedom, and let them explore, let them create, let them collaborate, let them share, let them innovate, let them work together, sitting not sitting in one place, sitting in different places. Now they can collaborate with anybody in any part of the world using this technology, and they can generate content using this particularly this generative artificial intelligence. But what is important? It is artificial intelligence is important, no doubt about that. But human intelligence is more important, because ultimately what we have to do, we have to empower our students to think critically. So if when they may generate content, because we know that global north, global south, but what the this GAI will generate, that may not be, that may be full of bias, because in global north has more data as compared to global south. So that the biasness will be there, and we should empower students to develop their capacity, and they should think critically. They should develop their problem solving ability, so that what we can do, we can really we can really help them to analyze the things in a better way. Let them take decision. They should be in a position to take decision. So keeping in view that we should take advantage of technology, we should integrate with pedagogy. For example, that without using technology, just we can ask the student to collaborate, because you say now in this new pedagogy, we put more emphasis on collaboration. If there is better collaboration, then there is better learning. If there is better, so more social collaboration, social interaction, then there is better learning. That's what research says. And our technology can help us to enhance this collaboration. The more social interaction, more collaboration will be possible using technology, that we can use technology as a tool. Similarly, using this AI, what we can do, we can also take advantage of the situation, and we can save time. What we are doing now manually, that we need not do. Even when we are doing research, that we are doing review of related literature, we are doing data analysis, all these now the AI can do for us, and very effectively. And but we should devote more time in analyzing, on interpreting, and that what the technology cannot do, that we should do. That what technology can do, we should leave it to the technology, and what technology cannot do, technology cannot develop the affective domain, that feeling, the aspect, that technology cannot do. So we should put more emphasis on this, because nowadays, now we are talking, even our NAP is also talking about on these fundamental duties, because we have to strengthen our affective domain. And even our national curriculum framework 2023, it is also talking about different subject areas. Now whatever we have, we are now going to add this vocational education, going to add art, physical education. That means along with the cognitive, now we are putting emphasis on affective domain. So what the cognitive domain is doing, to some extent technology can help in creating such type of content, but technology cannot help us in strengthening the affective domain. So that is why we should try to develop the affective domain and also other domains of the personality, so that really we can prepare good human being. That should be our focus, and we should take full advantage of technology, particularly this artificial intelligence, the generative artificial intelligence. And along with that, we should develop the capacity of our learners, so that they can take decision independently, they can contribute significantly, and they can develop their potentiality, and they can think independently, and they, using their own autonomy, they can explore, and they can contribute in a better manner. So that is my perception about this technology.
Which means that they should be AI collaborative. They should be able to collaborate with AI tools and also complement when something which the AI cannot do, like the affective domain, that humans can complement.
Yeah.
Some of the cognitive skills the AI will be able to handle, most of the cognitive skills, but the affective domain is our competency, the human competency. So for that also, I think teachers will have to be equipped to include this in the learning outcome. Now, AI skills, which is collaborative and also complementary. So I think that will be another challenge the NCERT and SCERT will have to address of how to meaningfully, like when we had ICT introduced, it was just a smart classroom. So just playing a video doesn't make a sense when you have such a big investment in a smart classroom. So likewise, these tools are at our disposal, so which means that there has to be some guideline for that also. What do you?
I Yes, I will explain you. So you see, when we are talking about this technology, UNESCO has classified it into four stages. If particularly keeping in view the use of technology in teaching learning process, the first stage is known as emerging. That means that is the beginning stage when computer came, and we started using these tools, the ICT tools, mostly as a productive tool. How to prepare document, how to make presentation, how to use this spreadsheet. That we in the beginning. That is the emerging stage, and mostly you will find in school and colleges. Mostly computers were with the principal, head of the institution. That was the beginning, emerging stage. We started just using this technology as a productive tool. In second phase, that is no, that is applying stage. When then we started applying technology, what UNESCO has classified, that applying means to enhance the traditional knowledge, what we are teaching, and just we are giving animation effect, we are using PowerPoint, so that within less time we can cover more content. We can cover the syllabus, because we know our content is overloaded, curriculum is overloaded, and we have to cover the syllabus. We are using technology. That means we are using technology to enhance traditional learning. Traditional learning, that is content mastery. So that is the applying stage. The third stage is infusing stage. Infusing means what? That means just technology is we use to facilitate learning. That means to facilitate learning, that is this is the third stage. We are not applying to enhance the traditional teaching learning process. Rather, we are using technology to facilitate learning. So that means learners will be active, and they will construct their own knowledge. They will create their own knowledge, and they teacher will facilitate learning. Technology will be used as a tool just to facilitate learning. That is the infusing. And the fourth one is transforming. That means in every walk of life, we will use technology. Now, that is the example, this generative artificial intelligence has come. And now we are using and this chat GPT, other things, and for all, that means for everything now we can use. That means that this is the last stage. That is the transforming. This is the classification. That means historically, if you see, that means emerging, then applying, then infusing, then transforming. These are the stages of development of this ICT. That means how to use ICT, and that is mostly the developed countries. And India is also in the process. We are going to be a developed country. But so now we have started using technology in different ways, and now we will take advantage of this artificial intelligence, no doubt about that. But focus what I have already said, that we should do what the technology can do, but we should focus what the technology cannot do. That should because we need good human being. in 21st century. Not only they should be intelligent, they should develop all the programs, or they should be very productive, effective, but along with that, they should be good human being. That now we are talking about global citizenship, and they should understand what is happening in other countries. So that type of feeling, that type of attitude, that we should develop, that focus should be more on that, along with all these. Then only we can address the issues and face the challenge.
Then there is also this issue of what do you call lack of jobs that might happen due to AI. So which means that students will have to be very innovative and also a little bit venturesome. Like they were now a lot of startups are being promoted. Even in schools also they are promoting startups. In colleges they have incubators. So I think that culture will have to slowly come in such a way that everybody should be thinking of even developing a small enterprise in case they are not able to find a productive employment. So I think that that process also has to start in the school itself, because earlier we were taught to study well, get a good academic score, and then try for a good job. But that may be something which may be difficult for in the coming years when there are so much disruptions taking place. So which means that we'll have to equip the students to be more independent and also maybe think of something like venturesome kind of attitude. So what is your take on that? How?
You are right. You are right. Actually, what I feel, and that when we are preparing our students, we should prepare keeping in view the future, because you see the jobs what is available now, we had never thought of those jobs. The job profiles were not there when we are students. Similarly, what will happen in future because of this fourth industrial revolution, because of this artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, what is going to happen in future, that we do not know. So what we have to, since we do not know what is going to happen, instead of giving importance to these different the content areas, we should try to developing the skills and competencies using different contents. So that is most important thing. If we can do that, then definitely we can take care of our students, and we can really address the future challenges, because India is going to be the youngest country in the world next decade, and we will have large number of youth. And when we will have large number of youth, we should develop their potentialities. If we can develop their potentialities, then they will be asset to the nation. Otherwise, they will be liability to the nation. So that is why when we are developing our education system, we should keep in mind what exactly we want, what is our expectation, what is our vision. Even NEP has also clearly mentioned that we are going to that means we should have a system of education which will be rooted in Indian ethos, and directly contribute in creating an equitable, vibrant knowledge society. So that we can do if we perfectly integrate technology with pedagogy and content. Then definitely we can create a different type of learning environment where our students will develop their skills and competencies, which will help them to face the challenge in future, because we do not know what type of jobs will be available. And keeping in view the need and requirement, they can apply their mind, they can apply their problem solving ability, creativity, critical thinking, and they can face any challenge, any situation, and adjust with the changing environment, and they can contribute significantly in nation building. That is why, keeping in view that need, we have to bring about change in our system.
So the intrinsic motivation of the child should be developed, because you cannot give rewards and try to make the child learn. So that is what we have been trying to do. So this intrinsic motivation is also linked to the experience the child has, either in the family or when they come to school. So that experiential learning is now again much talked about. That teacher has to provide, or the school has to provide that experience which may take them outside the classroom. As our Prime Minister has also told the teachers at the National Teachers Award, that ceremony, that they should try to have more experiential learning taking place in our classroom. And they should come out of the classroom and then create that interest, that intrinsic motivation. Are we in that situation where again that also requires more training for the teachers?
Yes, what I feel we can do that. Actually, when we're talking about this intrinsic motivation, you see, we are giving reinforcement. What you mentioned, that is something external, because that is not permanent. That what we do using this behavioristic model. But now, when we're talking about this constructivist learning theory, our focus is more on this intrinsic motivation, because let student explore, let student create, let student collaborate, let them share, let them exhibit their talents what they have. If we can do that inside the classroom, then definitely they will develop this intrinsic motivation, because when they are doing something in isolation and when they are doing something in collaboration, that is difference. When they work together in a group, that what will be the advantage? It will help in the development of the spirit of collaboration. What we need for the effective functioning of democracy, that is the need of our, and that we can do if we ask them to work together in group, and along with that we give them responsibility. Let us make them responsible for their own learning. It is not that it is not responsibility. Let students be responsible for their learning. We have to empower them. It is not that's not that just will think that they do not know anything. We have to provide all sort of information. Mind is a blank slate or empty vessel. We have to provide all sort of information. That is gone. Gone are those days. Now we have to help them to explore. That let them explore something using this experiential learning. Why we're talking about this experiential learning? Because they will experience and they will observe they observe, and they will formulate their hypothesis, and let them verify their hypothesis, let them work together. And if we bring about change in our approach, definitely that will bring about change. And when students themselves do something, when we give them opportunity to make a presentation, when we give them opportunity to come out with a project report, when they work together, even when we ask them to assess their performance, because now we are talking about self-assessment, peer assessment, and NEP has suggested that students should be involved in the process of assessment, and assessment as learning. Let them reflect on their own learning, and when they will reflect on their own learning, they will know their strength and their weakness. Definitely, they will try their best to overcome the weakness. That is most important, and that we can do. That is why we have to bring about change in our pedagogical approach, and also in the process of assessment. So if we can do that, we can develop the intrinsic motivation. Otherwise, what we are doing traditionally, if you continue with that, then that is not going to serve the purpose, because students are preparing only for exam. How they will secure good mark in exam? Just I will give one example. In we conduct national achievement survey, and the last survey was conducted in 2021. If you take the average score of class 10 students in national achievement survey, that was 38. 34 lakh students participated in this national achievement survey, and students of best English medium school, Navodaya Vidyalaya, Kendriya Vidyalaya, participated in this national achievement survey. Average score was 38. Even when we conducted this survey in 2017, and it was also almost same. But in board exam, our students are securing 90%, more than 90%, and around 80%. And why this gap? Because we are not preparing our students for that to preparing our students only for exam. They are securing the good mark when question come from the textbooks. We are not helping them to develop the skills and competency. They are not exploring, they are not creating, they are not innovating, they are not participating. That means they experiential learning. That means we are not giving them that exposure. That is why NEP is talking about art integrated learning, sport integrated learning, inquiry based, discussion based, storytelling based. Why all this? Because just to develop their intrinsic motivation, just to make them more creative, more innovative. If that is done, definitely we can achieve the goal, and we can bring about a significant change in teaching learning process, and we can really make our country a developed country, because the large number of youth, That means we are going to have, that means it is going to the youngest country in the world. If we can really develop their intrinsic motivation through this experiential learning, art integrated learning, sport integrated learning, definitely they will be asset to our nation, and they will make our country a developed country. So that is my observation.
In fact, the Pallikkutam pedagogy, which is developed by Dr. Varghese Pandalukan and his team, it is also based on intrinsic motivation. So that actually helps them to develop this venturesome attitude. And that is through, again, my thinking and mindset development. As you mentioned, all the process that go into that building of the mind. So since you also mentioned briefly about the pedagogical changes in the required approaches, we have been following the Bloom's taxonomy, and then came the revised Bloom's taxonomy in early 2000. And now again another 24 years have gone now, and a lot of changes are taking place. So do you think, and you mentioned about the constructivist approach and all. So right now, considering the Indian situation, although we always compare ourselves with Finland and other progressive nations in education, considering the Indian what you call large population and our diversity of culture and language and so many other things, in your experience, what pedagogy would you suggest? Like where it addresses the needs of a very diverse population as well as the future, as demographic dividend, as you mentioned. Both of these things are addressed in such a way, which will be your suggestion for that.
My suggestion would be that we should take care of our indigenous pedagogy, because what was there in our ancient universities, it may be Nalanda, Takshashila, and Vikramshila. That means our approach was interdisciplinary. Since our approach was interdisciplinary, and our focus was on holistic development, and assessment was also performance based. It was not only the paper pencil test that they have to exhibit their talent. So that was the practice. That means what was there, and that is why in ancient time, that means if you see the literature, we are talking about 64 collage. 64 collage means it is not only the painting, dancing, etc. But along with that, when we say 64 collage, it includes the painting, dancing. Then along with that, it includes also science, mathematics, chemistry, and it includes the medicine, law, that means professional knowledge. Then it also includes the soft skills and also the vocational. See, that means five components. That means what was there in ancient days. That means education is complete if one is having 64 collage. That means painting, dancing will be there. Art, that means it may be visual, performing art will be there. Along with the different disciplinary knowledge will be there. Along with that, professional knowledge will be there. It may be medicine, etc. Along with that, vocational knowledge will be there. Maybe carpentry, cloth making, and soft skills: how to talk, how to debate, how to communicate. If all these will be there, then definitely it will be complete. So that is why what we have to do, we have to follow the holistic approach. And what we have recommended in our national curriculum framework, even NEP 2020 has also recommended almost the same thing. That means it is our approach will be very student friendly, learner centered, and learner centric, so that what will happen, the student will be given full autonomy, and autonomy to teachers also, because now we are talking about not only autonomy to the students, autonomy to the teachers. If autonomy is given to the teachers, then they can innovate, they will think of different ways of teaching learning. So that is why what we have to do, we have to give autonomy to the teachers. We have to give respect to our teachers, because in our society, the like in ancient time, the teachers were highly respected. And like in what is happening in Finland, teachers are highest paid government servants, and full autonomy is there. They can add the content, they can bring about change. And now what NEP has recommended, that we have to give local flavor to the content, that to the textbook. That local content should be added to the textbook. All these our teachers can do if we give them autonomy. Without giving autonomy, if you ask them, you add local flavor, that is not feasible. So the autonomy should be given, respect should be given, and their capacity, they should be empowered, and there should be enhancement of their capacity. They should be oriented about the latest pedagogy, what is happening, even taking into account our ancient culture, because that is most important, because we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We believe in Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. That means what is that? That we feel for others. Whole world is one family. Now we are talking about this in G20, that was the slogan. Then whole world is one family. That feeling, irrespective of religion, caste, color, creed, we all are human being and one family. So that type of attitude, that type of mindset, we have to develop among the students and among the teachers. Then it will be possible. That means pedagogical reform is essential. Otherwise, that without that we cannot achieve the goal. So that is my perception, because we have to integrate both. We have to take into account our root, our culture, our tradition, our value system. Along with that, what is happening, what is the latest technology, what is the latest pedagogy, it may be GAI, or it may be this constructivist approach, and we have to integrate all these. Then we can come out with our own indigenous pedagogy and really achieve the goal. So that is my perception.
In fact, you touched upon very important aspects of our reform required, and as you rightly pointed out, the Buddhist pedagogy was something which we lost over the years, and you mentioned some of the benefits of that. So I think we are coming almost 1 hour now. It is so very interesting in interaction with you, but I think we'll wind up with two important questions which are more of a personal in nature. One is having spent so much years in the educational leadership and also contributing in your own way, what change is required. What do you think is something which you couldn't, you wanted to do, but you couldn't do? Or some of the one or two major achievements you could bring into the education sector in the country? And secondly, of course, what considering all the current situation in which we are also talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and also we are growing in a way, economically we are growing. So in this situation, what do you think is the future of India's education, especially school education? So all these two will have a wind up.
Thank you very much for asking this question. Actually, what I feel, we are concentrating more on the development of cognitive domain. We are developing textbook, different type of learning materials, everything. But what is neglected, the affective domain is totally neglected. That is why what we need, what the problem we are facing. We have very good doctors, we have very good engineers, very good administrators, but there is shortage of good human being and good doctor, good human being and good teacher, good human being and good bureaucrats or good politician. So that is one most important thing, that what we should concentrate. We should concentrate more on preparing good human being. So that if we can do that, but that is a very challenging task. And now even all over the world now we are talking about that. Even I was going through one document prepared by this International Bureau of Education. They are talking about three type of competence. One is intellectual competence, that we all are familiar. Another is social competence, because we have to live in the society, we have to adjust with the others, and we should know how to talk, how to communicate, all this. The third competence, they are talking about the character. But in India, in the Indian education system, we put a lot of emphasis on character education, value education. And now they're also in that document I have seen, they're talking about this character competence. That should be integrated, what we say and what we do. That integrity should be there. So that is why more now time has come. We should put more emphasis on development of the holistic personality, particularly on affective domain. Then what will happen? We can make our children conscious of their duties and responsibilities, so that they will be good human being, good citizen, as well as the global citizen. So that is the most important thing that we should do in the field of education. And if you see the school education particularly, because school education is the foundation. If foundation is strong, then in future that our quality of higher education also will be strengthened. That is why what we have initiated now. We are integrating 3 years of preschooling with class 1 and 2 founders. But because what is found, our students are there, but they are not having the basic skills and competencies. And maximum brain development, 85% of brain development takes place during this early stage. So that is why foundation is most important in school education. And to strengthen the foundation, of course, the government of India set up Nipun Bharat to take care of this literacy, numeracy, FLN. And along with that, we have revised the curriculum and different types of learning materials we have developed just to strengthen this. And the most important thing, we have to think of the children who are coming from tribal area, coming from rural area, coming from slum, geographically remote area where basic facilities are not there. We have to take care of these children. We have to provide them quality education so that maximum brain development of these children will take place. If once that is done, then definitely our country will be developed country and our school education will be strengthened. And only if we concentrate only on urban area and neglect the other part of the country, then definitely we cannot grow, we cannot develop. So that is why from a holistic perspective, we have to take care of all categories of learners, including the Divyang, and we have to provide them quality education. We have to make the foundation strong. Once that is done, they will not leave the school. And language is a very big challenge. You see the tribal population, what we are doing, we are developing learning materials in the state language, regional language. Their mother tongue is totally neglected. Of course, NEP has taken care, cognizance of this fact. Now we have to develop learning materials in their language. So that is they, we have to take care of their language, their culture, their tradition, their value system, and we have to contextualize everything. Not that one type of textbook for the whole country. And textbook will be there, framework will be there, but they can add the local content, they can give local flavor, so that children will be connected to their root. Once they're connected, once they learn through their language at the early stage, and I don't say that they should learn only through their mother tongue. Early stage, they should learn through their mother tongue. Then they can learn other languages, other culture, other tradition, and about the national history. That will serve the purpose. That is my perception, my observation, and thank you very much for giving this opportunity. It's a very nice interaction. Thank you.